What is up, YouTube? My name is Kira and I'm back with a brand new video. And let me tell you a small story. It starts at Arsenal and it will end with Manchester United. It was draw, loss against Brentford, a win against Tottenham, a draw against Manchester United, and a crushing defeat against Newcastle. But what will tomorrow have for Chelsea? I mean, frankly, I don't believe that we can just sweep the loss we have against Newcastle under the rug. I truly believe that loss will affect the players. I think what Mauricio Pochettino said today about we have to look at ourselves and blame ourselves is a bunch of hogwash, in my opinion. Because we have to remember these players are very young, very inexperienced, and very early on in their careers. And I feel like mentality is such a big part of this Chelsea team, because when we look at that 4-1 crushing defeat against Newcastle, we lacked mentality. And frankly, I feel like when Pochettino wasn't at the sideline, it truly affected these players because they're so used to that presence telling them what to do that the inexperience showed. I mean, Joe Linton and that Miley Cyrus there absolutely dominated that midfield, where Enzo and Conor Gallagher should be, frankly, quality-wise, Enzo Fernandez was the best midfielder there. But frankly, he was completely eclipsed by the sheer dominance, the sheer presence of Joe Linton and co. And I feel like it will take a lot for us to turn this around in such a small space of time because, again, we are young, we are inexperienced. I mean, the oldest person we have reasonably there is Thiago Silva, but he's basically 60 years old. But the general feeling of the camp is that this is a project. I mean, and I feel like that's a problem with Chelsea Football Club. We're so used to getting instant success from a new manager. Like we get in players in the transfer window and we expect trophies. But now the total vision of the club has changed. And I feel like we will have these stumbling blocks that we have against Brentford, that we had against Newcastle, and of course in the beginning of the season against West Ham and co. I mean, this can only get worse in my opinion. I mean, I do believe that Newcastle result was the bottom of the barrel, but we will lose some more games. But I do think Pochettino can drag it out. I think the international break not coming for another 3 months is a huge asset to this team to build something under Pochettino. Because look at the Chelsea team before the international break, the one that faced the Man City, Spurs, and frankly even Arsenal. I feel like Brentford in between Tottenham and Arsenal was a bit of a blip because of course it's a low block and we still can't do anything about that. But that wasn't the same Chelsea team that faced Newcastle that day. It just wasn't. It's just like we almost reset completely because of the international break. And I feel like the international break being 3 months away will be a huge asset to us because we need that cohesion, that camaraderie that we'll have when Nkunku and co comes back, Chukwuemeka and Lavia comes back as well. So I do predict we will get a positive-ish result, but I don't think it'll be a win because Brighton are a team of fighters, and frankly, I do see a way of how we can win, since of course Estepinian and Ciso, Fati and others are injured for Brighton, but we also have our own injuries, and frankly, our mentality is far worse compared to Brighton. So I do think we could lose or we could draw, but I do think this will be a 2-2 draw or even a 1-1 draw. But I wouldn't be shocked if we will lose today or tomorrow, I mean. And frankly, this story started off against Arsenal and it'll end against Manchester United at the 6th of December. So far, I do have hope for the future because that performance we had against Arsenal, we should have won, but we didn't. I mean, we drew the match but won the game, in my opinion. The same thing can be said against Chelsea, against Man City. That 4-4 draw, I mean, no one would even predict that we could score 4 goals against Man City. I think they would have thought we would have lost by 4 goals. And I think we will have one more stumbling block before we rise again against Manchester United, which will obviously fall like a rock in a river. I truly believe that. I mean, Newcastle, and then they have to face us. They finally have to face page 1 teams, and I think they will fall like a rock in the river. That's my opinion, and frankly, that is the truth. But so far, this story is going exceedingly well, and it has to end with us being victorious, saying, look, we only lost once. I mean, twice if you include Brentford, and for some reason my mind is including Brentford. But against the top half of the teams, we have performed admirably. And frankly, this is a project again, and I think today will be another stepping block to what we will become. So what is my prediction? It will be a draw or a loss, But how can I turn that into a win if I was Mauricio Pochettino? Obviously, the starting lineup will be as follows. I think he said Nkunku and Lavia won't be included, and I think they will be available for Manchester United, which will be a great introduction for them at Old Trafford. But obviously Sanchez is there, and of course Reece James, Cucurella, Chilwell, and Gusto are gone. So that's basically all of our fullbacks, barring Colwell. So the back line will be a real problem for us. But I think you'll go with this back five basically. Sanchez, of course. I mean, there's no one else we can play there right now. Right back, I think he'll play Disasi there. I think Disasi has played there. Of course, he played there once and we lost, and that was against Brentford. But he's the only other option for that right back position. Centre back pairing, I think it has to be Thiago Silva and Badia Shield that played against Newcastle, and Colwell being our left back. The midfield picks itself. I mean, Caicedo has immense pressure on him since he is a 100+ million midfielder. So he will play with Enzo Fernandez and Colin Gallagher. And the front line, I mean, basically our front six is untouched. I mean, no one can come in there except for Nkunku, and Nkunku will not be ready for that. So it will be Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Conor Gallagher, Conor Braveheart Gallagher. Absolutely love the passion that guy has for this team. Cole Palmer, Nicholas Jackson, and Raheem Sterling. And that back line to me doesn't. I mean, it'll be the first time we've had such a makeshift back line before, and I think that will have an effect on us. That's why I think we can't win with that back line because of course Brighton plays such expansive football, and the Cole doesn't have pace, and this also doesn't have pace. So I think Brighton will absolutely aim for that, and the way they play, I just don't see us not conceding. It's not about not conceding, it's about how much we will concede on Sunday. And that's basically it, man. I think this will be another stumble, not a fall like we had against Newcastle there. And hopefully we will get a result. But I don't think we will get a result that is adequate to appease this fan base just yet. It is a project, and we have to look to how we can make this project a success in the future. But of course, these results really matter, and I think we will get Europe. Controversial as it is, I do believe in Pochettino. I mean, he's the best developmental coach in the world, in my opinion, and he has a plethora of young talent at his disposal, and I think he will do right by us. And that's, frankly, I mean, all that's left for me to say is wish all of you a very good day. Bye-bye.